All right, this is gonna be like my 10th time recording this video because I've been developing my take as I saw this, and then I've been going through it. Talked to Evux for a little bit. We had a little chit chat. He gave me his take and stuff, and I think I've developed my position on this, and I will use my small audience sort of to call attention to this. If you don't watch Valorant, or like maybe you didn't hear about this or something. Basically, in map 3 of Ascend versus Vivokid, Vivokid use a camera. These are the facts. They use this camera right here. This camera can see over this little lip in the roof right here, which doesn't exist actually. Like there's wall, there's a roof right here. And by the way, map design is pretty intentional. There might have been a reason for this roof, right? Maybe they knew that you could place your camera up here and the camera's just not supposed to see there, right? Maybe the camera is supposed to be placed in this position, but it's not supposed to get this information, right? But it's a bug in the game, and it does get this information, and this is why it's called an exploit. It's abusing a bug. You're exploiting the bug for a competitive advantage, right? So the discussion of is this an exploit or not, it absolutely is an exploit. A lot of people argue that their exploits in the game should be allowed, right? If there's something in the game that exists, you should be able to use it. I think this is a terrible take, because if an Omen was teleporting below the map in Berlin, that would kind of ruin the tournament, right? For the team who lost, that'd be pretty shitty that they literally just abused the bugs in the game, and people would be like, well, you should blame Riot for that. And it's like, they can't possibly fix every single exploit in the game. There's 7 maps, near 20 agents. I don't actually know how many there are, but I know that it's close to 20. And like, there's no way they could possibly patch out every single exploit that exists in the game. There was a similar circumstance for this, actually a very similar circumstance for this in Masters 3. Apparently, according to some of the talk, Vodafone Giants used the same camera in Masters 3, so Riot probably should be aware of this. They knew the camera existed. It's pretty safe to say. The fact that they haven't patched it out yet, a little ridiculous, right? But they also have other priorities, like releasing new content, and like every single patch is going to bring new exploits and stuff like that. They probably have a lot on their plate, and this tiny Cypher camera probably was not the first thing on their radar. That being said, it's coming back to bite them right now. They probably should have fixed this. So my take on this is not that, oh yeah, well, this isn't an exploit, it should be allowed. My take on this is that this is absolutely an exploit, and maybe slap Vivokid with a fine or something, but this ruling is absolutely terrible. They sacrificed the whole map to Ascend. Ascend gained 7 rounds, then sacrificed the whole map, actually. The ruling that they did is that they got 6 rounds for the 6 rounds that they used the cam, and then they got a 7th round for economy, which is a little ridiculous, right? Do you think that this camera alone won them 6 rounds? No, of course not, right? There's a lot to be obtained from this camera. Maybe there's like information people cross into this corner, and no information in itself is information for a lot of players who maybe are worse at the game. If you don't see something, that's almost as good as seeing something sometimes, right? Say, for example, somebody pushes through B main, they don't see anything B main, they can safely assume that they must be mid or A, right? Because they're not B. So like, information or no information is very helpful. That being said, is these few steps of information that helpful? 7 rounds helpful? Absolutely not. This is ridiculous. I don't feel like Ascend feels good with this win. Like getting 7 free rounds. Do you think Ascend is coming out of this being like, yeah, let's go? Of course not. Do you think Vivokid is coming out of this feeling good? No. Do you think the fans are coming out of this feeling good? I guess maybe if you're a Vivokid fan, like, you feel really good about this, but yeah, no, it feels kind of scummy. It's very stupid, and I think that maybe at the most, like I said, slap Vivokid with a fine, but they won this game, bro. They absolutely won this game, and this is a little ridiculous. So kind of just calling attention to this, providing the take that I think is more acceptable than just saying, oh, exploits should be allowed, because I think that's ridiculous. I think that a lot of people made this take on my Cloud9 video when I talked about this, where this camera or this turret can see through the wall, and I think it was a terrible take. If you don't know, back in 2020, I can't remember if I talked about this in this shot. I said I recorded this like 10 times. I don't actually remember if I talked about this or not. But in 2020, apparently, like almost literally over a year ago, Cloud9 used a turret that could shoot through this wall. It would detect if anybody was B main or not. It couldn't hit targets through the wall, but it would tell you if they were there. They absolutely knew it was an exploit. Vivokid absolutely, they probably knew this was an exploit. I think it's very unlikely that they didn't. But the fact that it was used previously and there was no punishment taken on Vodafone Giants probably signified to them that, okay, this is allowed, I guess, you know. So yeah, this is just a bad ruling. Yeah. Let me know what you think. See you guys later.